Hi, I'm Mark, and this is Let's Vibe, the channel all about crystals and our feelings. So, we just had the new moon in Virgo yesterday, which felt kind of, I don't know, it felt, there was some emotional undercurrents for me, but it was kind of quiet, and I kind of ended up just feeling tired yesterday and went to bed early. But just looking at my astrological chart, the transits occurring during that new moon, there was some really fascinating aspects, mainly squares, involving Lilith and Venus and the North Node and Neptune and Juno. Not 100% sure of what to make of all of it, but it kind of, like, the first thing that came to me was like, you know, there's some kind of transformation going on. Something's changing, and something's being changed within. And with Lilith heavily involved in these squares, it brings to mind, you know, just shadow aspects and stuff. More challenging things. Anyway, this kind of ties in with the stone that I've chosen for this video and for Virgo season, and that is Unakite. So Unakite is a mottled green and pink stone. It was first discovered in, I believe it's North Carolina, in the Unakite Mountains. And it's a form of granite. I'm forgetting the term that I read. There was a specific term used to describe it, but it's a type of, or some form of granite with feldspar. The pink spots are feldspar. I think orthoclase, feldspar, something like that. So this is a very grounding stone, and I can see why it would be attributed with Virgo, because this stone, it's not just very earth-based, you know, earth energy, grounding, and protective. It also really facilitates deep transformation and healing. And it's not just an earth-based stone. It you know, resonating with the lower chakras. Unakite also resonates with the third eye chakra. Unakite can be used for enhancing your psychic vision, enhancing your visualization skills. It can help you ground your spiritual energies, and it really helps connect that earth energy with the higher frequency spiritual energy. And that does make me think of Virgo, because Virgo is all about cleansing, purification, details, health, and taking care of oneself. And there is that higher spiritual aspect to it, and so it just, yeah, it fits Virgo quite well. When I hold Unakite, I definitely feel it in the lower chakras. I definitely quickly feel that energy of grounding. And this is a calming stone. It does bring a calming to the emotions. It can help you balance your emotional state. And as I mentioned, it is good for transformative inner work and shadow work. This stone can gently bring things up to the surface that need to be addressed, or things that are ready to be let go, which, you know, for so long, I've fallen into this well, I guess just this way of thinking where I hear about releasing things and I always think, oh, it's just like letting go. You know, I'm gonna, you know, something's gonna come up and I'll just let it go. Like letting go of a balloon. And it's always, you know, I always think about it or anticipate it in this very simplistic, emotionless, painless, manner, you know, no pain, of course. I'm just letting it go. And I'm laughing because it's just, that's not how it happens. In my experience, again and again and again, and even though this has happened so many times, I still forget. In my experience, letting go means, yes, something comes to the surface. It's usually something painful. It brings out tears, crying, maybe there's anger, hurt. And it means, in order to let it go, it means feeling all of it. Feeling the fullness of it. And sorry if you hear a siren in the background. Yeah, it's not comfortable. It is not simply releasing a balloon or something and it floats away. No, it has to be felt. I've been learning in recent months more so how to sit with that shadow, sit with those painful feelings, and just allow them to be present. And that's all it's asking for. That's all that's needed. Because then once that happens, once I sit with it and feel it and cry it out or whatever, then it releases. Then it's like releasing a balloon in a way. So Unakite is a facilitator, of that process. And Unakite can also be used to help you get to the root of an obstacle or a blockage and uncover, you know, what's the pain behind this blockage. But yes, Unakite also does feel very supportive. It does have a comforting energy, a strengthening, supportive energy. which is of course needed when you are processing those shadow aspects. And you know, in my own recent processing and sitting with shadow aspects, all of this has been part of a manifestation process. I've been very hesitant to talk about this because all the manifestation videos that I've watched on YouTube, and you know, there's really, they don't talk about some of like the experience, the less, how do I put it? In most manifestation or videos about manifestation, they don't go into, you know, they don't go into too much detail about some of the more challenging experiences that can come up as you're learning to manifest and as you are focusing on a particular goal. And it's not that they are deliberately trying to hide something. It's not like they are, you know, not telling the whole truth. You know, it's not like that. I think part of this has to do with the fact that manifestation is very personal and I think it's a somewhat unique process for each person. But the laws, the rules about it, you know, like the law of attraction and that kind of thing is applicable for everybody, no doubt. And I guess what I've struggled with is, you know, I've been asking myself over and over, am I doing something wrong? You know, is there something, you know, why am I continuing to go through challenging experiences, which have often been just experiences of some kind of lack, uncertainty, and then with that I've then struggled with some doubt and fear, and then it'll get better for a little bit and I'll be back on my A game, so to speak, spiritually and mentally and emotionally, and I'll be like, you know, I'm still focusing on my goal. I'm still, you know, I know I can reach it. I'm in a very optimistic space, and then comes another downward turn. And it's been like that for the last at least 3 months, maybe I would say 4 months. And it's definitely brought days of, you know, wondering what the hell's going on. Am I doing something wrong? Because, you know, most manifestation coaches or people who talk about manifestation on YouTube, they've got some great stories. And even I have some good stories of manifesting things. But, you know, when you watch videos, they share their own success stories. And some of them are like, I manifested $100,000 in 2 weeks, or a house in a week, or they talk about how their manifestation didn't take very long, or it happened instantly sometimes, um, and again, I know that they are being honest. They're telling their story, their experience, and it's like, what's what is happening? And I've applied many different techniques in these last 4 months. I've learned some really interesting techniques, certain shamanic type rituals that have been, I think they've been teaching me things. It has not resulted in my ultimate goal yet, but I've started to see that I've been learning things by doing these rituals, and but yeah, it's been a lot of up and downs. And I did recently watch a video by this, I believe he's from somewhere in Scandinavia. His name is Andreas Riedel. Not sure how to pronounce not sure how to pronounce it correctly, but he's a spiritual coach on YouTube. And he did a video talking about the ups and downs, and it was very helpful. It was very encouraging, because he described how, the rhythm of life is up and down like a wave. But we have to remind ourselves that on this spiritual journey, it's not just up and down. You are going up higher and higher, but there are still the waves, the highs and the lows, but the trajectory is still going up. And that was very helpful to me. That made a lot of sense, and that was encouraging, because it can easily feel, during those lows, it can easily feel like no progress has been made. And I was definitely struggling with that earlier this summer, like feeling like no progress had been made. And in recent days, in the last couple days, I had some interesting thoughts and ideas come to mind about this experience that I've been having with manifestation and all of these ups and downs. And one thing that I realized, or just came to see, was that these experiences have been teaching me how to find my center and stay in that center, in this very balanced space. I've been feeling like I've just been thrown back and forth between, feeling great and feeling really low, and it's just been over and over and over, and going from feeling like I've got it, I have it, I'm abundant, and then feeling like just the opposite. And I was looking at that, and I realized that it has allowed me to see and feel the central point. And what I'm thinking of, and the image that was coming to mind, was the infinity symbol. And so I was seeing myself standing in the center of the infinity. And of course, each side represents the two extremes, the two polarities. And it was a new perspective on everything that had been happening. But also, I got this image and idea that sort of just followed along with that. And it was this image of myself like pushing from side to side, pushing against the walls. The wall of abundance and feeling great, and the wall of lack and feeling down. And I saw myself running between each of those walls, running into each of those walls and pushing them further and further apart from each other. Which then made me think, I'm creating space. And that must have been something that I was really lacking, because I must have been lacking that. And of course, you need space if you're going to accept some kind of abundance. You need space if you're going to accept something new into your life. And, it's hard to understand what that might mean on the inside, because it's not just when manifestation coaches or when spiritual coaches talk about making space, it's not just physical space. It's also the internal spaces, mental space, emotional space, heart space. And that can be difficult to fully understand and make sense of. And I thought that, and I have been making space, and I thought that, I had made plenty of space by processing and releasing a lot of old wounds and a lot of shadow aspects, not necessarily releasing the shadow aspects, but sitting with them and integrating them into my whole self, but releasing the emotions attached to those shadow aspects. But and I don't have the full understanding and perspective of this all at this moment, but clearly another type of space was needed. And so that's why I was seeing myself pushing those walls further and further apart. But then I saw myself again standing in that middle point, and now there was a choice. I could choose to run to the wall of lack and the wall of fear, or I could choose to turn to and run towards that wall of abundance and joy and living in the flow. And then I saw myself moving towards that wall, or facing that wall at least. And then I saw that wall become a gateway. Because of course it's not a wall that you just slam into. Abundance is limitless. The universe is limitless. And so it became this gateway that opened up to that limitlessness. And I've been seeing, just in the last couple of months, I've been getting a lot of visuals of black and white. Those two opposites again, those two polarities. And I even saw some messages or synchronicities of that outside in nature. I like to go to the beach and just go swimming. The ocean is very powerfully cleansing. And it took me a while to understand in what way it was cleansing me. But I finally, in the last month, or maybe just the last couple weeks, I realized that the ocean was definitely helping me cleanse woundedness, because every time I would walk towards the beach, I'd start the most repetitive, cyclical, negative thinking, stuff from the past would start coming up. And then when I was swimming and just trying to enjoy myself and, you know, kind of commune with the energy of the ocean, I would just, my mind, these thoughts from the past, thoughts about certain people from the past, imagined conversations, imagined arguments, and all of this anger, frustration, hurt was just running like automatic. And I didn't understand it. I kept asking myself, why is this happening? Why every time I go to the beach, I start getting these horrible cyclical thoughts, and then when I'm in the water, I'm still struggling with it. And it would last, you know, maybe for like 30 minutes to an hour after swimming. And it finally dawned on me, this was the energy of the ocean cleansing me. I just didn't understand how much needed to be cleansed out, washed out. So much. I had to be honest with myself. I have to be honest with myself and recognize that I feel things very, very deeply. I have a very deep emotional well. And over the years, I poured a lot of pain into that well, not knowing what else to do with it or feeling like I just couldn't handle it. So I stored it in my very deep reservoir. I think that's my Pluto and Scorpio in the 4th house at work. With the IC very close, my IC very close to Pluto in Scorpio. I just didn't fully understand how much there was to cleanse. And of course, when there is that much to cleanse and heal, it's gonna take multiple trips, multiple times. And so that's why every time I was going to the beach, that would happen. And it just, only now do I feel like I've finally come to, or at least am extremely close to, the bottom of that well of hurt emotions. Because I went swimming yesterday, and that was probably one of the first times that I did not feel that pull into those hurt memories and emotions. And I was able to just swim and just be present in the water. And so that's another way of making space. And so, yeah, I don't have all the answers of why it had to be that way, why I've had to experience those things. And it's not really worth me asking those questions, but so I believe the conclusion that I'm coming to is that this has been my manifestation experience in the last few months. And no, it's not is manifestation effortless? Yes. I'm not gonna say that it's not, just because of what I've been experiencing. I know I know that at its core, at the foundation of manifestation, it is an effortless thing. It is a purely energetic kind of thing. Can manifestation happen instantly? Yes, I do still believe that. And so I'm saying, I don't doubt anyone else's stories. I don't doubt it when people say that they've manifested in a week or 2 weeks or instantaneously, or I don't doubt them when they say that it's easy and effortless. I guess I just wanted, I really felt like it was time for me to share another aspect of my own manifestation journey. Because this is, I can't say that, I don't think anyone can say that their experience with manifestation will be someone else's. And I know that it all kind of sounds a bit contradictory, and sometimes it really does feel that way for myself. But I think what has been happening overall is that I have been stepping into my own personal power, and doing that has given me the strength to claim what my heart desires. And it's big. It's something big. It's a big life change. It's a big upgrade. It's a big transition into a very different life. A very different way of living. And that has required me to make more space than I ever thought I needed to make, and has required me to release more emotional baggage that I didn't know I needed to release, and to learn some more things in order to step into that manifestation. And I guess that part is often, at least in my experience, I don't often hear about people talking about those kinds of experiences with manifesting things. And again, I know it sounds contradictory, but it's not, it doesn't mean that, none of the things they say are true, like it's easy, it can be instant, all that. No, that is true. Manifestation works on the law of attraction, and it is instantaneous because it's energetic. But spirit will lead us towards that manifestation in the way that suits us best. Like it's gonna be, like I already said, it's gonna be a unique experience for each person. And also, all of these experiences have helped me learn how to release control on a much deeper level, and surrender to the universe and trust the universe on a much deeper level. So I just felt inspired and guided to share that, and maybe you have some similar experiences. I did want to share a message from this Unakite, from the spirit of this Unakite stone. I have never channeled this stone before, so it'll be new for me too. So I'm gonna hold it in my right hand. Unakite, can you please enhance your energy for me for clear communication? Thank you. Unakite, I ask that the spirit of this crystal would introduce itself, and I ask that it would share any messages of guidance or wisdom with this community. Thank you. I'm seeing a feminine spirit, an earth spirit. She's saying to allow Mother Earth to guide you and help you in the transformation process and in the healing process. She says you can release your hurt and pain into the soil and receive comfort and healing from Mother Earth. I'm seeing a flower like a rose, a red rose, blossoming. And the spirit of this stone is pointing out how the bud, the rose bud, has to break in order to open. And I'm seeing that outer green, I don't know the term for it, but that outer green part of the flower bud breaking, splitting open as the flower itself unfurls. She confirms that water is very cleansing, moving water, especially when you ask it to help you cleanse. She's pointing out that Mother Earth has a lot of love energy. And that's why it's important to connect with the earth, to walk on the grass, to connect with the trees and the flowers and animals. She's telling me she is a guardian from the forest, or a guardian of the forest. And she sends all of us her blessings from the earth. Thank you, Unakite. All right. I do have a song for this stone. Uh, this song is by Melanie C. And it's kind of been a recent favorite. It's called Never Be the Same Again. And this is from her debut solo album. I believe this was her debut album back in 1999 called Northern Star. And I love this song. It's basically about two friends falling in love, but she's singing about a transformation happening. She's singing about change and becoming someone new and never being the same upon that change. And it's got a good rhythm. It's got a good mellow kind of vibe. So I think it fits Unakite pretty well. So I will include a link to Never Be the Same Again in the description box below. Also, if you feel led or called to donate to the channel, I do have my Venmo and PayPal in the description box. If you're interested in a tarot reading or distance Reiki session, you can email me at livebyyourfeelings, all lowercase, no spaces, livebyyourfeelings@gmail.com. Again, that's in the description box below. So thank you for watching and listening. Feel free to leave a comment or question down below. And once again, thank you so much for vibing with me.